and sing it one and all. Join in the chorus, North Melbourne's on the ball. Good old North Melbourne, they're champions, you'll agree. North Melbourne is the team that plays to win for you and me.
Welcome back, Shimboners. On today's episode, we will be previewing a big clash against the Hawks down in our hometown, Chief, in Launceston, as well as going through all our matchups, team changes, and, of course, continuing our player numbers. How are you, Chief? Looking forward to it.
Very good. Really looking forward to the first game live this year. And off the top, who are you looking forward to seeing?
Oh, boy. Oh, actually, Finn O'Sullivan.
Yeah, same. Him and Stiffy Hardiman. Really looking forward to seeing them, what they can do off the half-back wing type areas. And, of course, all my boys. So I don't think one will be there, but the rest of the CCC will be there. And the newest member.
Yeah, it'll be the first time you've seen him in the flesh, won't it?
Yeah, Parker. So looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to seeing how the midfield run defensively. Because they've been really good, and there was a good article about how they've improved defensively. So I'm looking for that to continue. And dare I say it, that should be an area of advantage to us, the midfield.
Well, we'll get into that when we get to our matchups. But the man I mentioned before, Finn O'Sullivan.
Sorry, I got to interrupt, because one of my favourites, PC. I can't wait to see him smash some bloody Hawks.
That'll be good. But as I was saying before you got dementia and forgot about PC, the man I mentioned before, Finn O'Sullivan, finally got his recognition with the Rising Star for round 15. About 10 weeks too late,
yep.
But good to see him finally get that.
And it'll be about 6 too late for Stiffy when he gets it this round, Stiffy Hardiman.
Well, we hope so.
Well, he should do. So. He should have got against Collingwood. I don't know who got it that round.
Oh, couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Don't know either.
Right, before we get into our full-blooded preview, let's bring our numbers forward, because it's episode 123 today, so we're going to talk about our favourite number 23s. I'll go first. I've got a split. I could not split them.
Split decision.
Yes, so the first one is Nathan Thompson for me, and just a reminder that it's our favourite players we've seen, so I can't go back into the archives.
No, like you're pointing at me, like I'm going to, but I'm going to go to the GOAT 23. But anyway, you keep going.
So
and
Nathan Thompson,
it's not Jordan, and it's not Warney.
Nathan Thompson, the double Cobra.
Yes.
Some of my earliest footy memories was when he was leading out with the blue goons that they used to wear with the kangaroo on the side. Remember that? The white outline of a kangaroo. Yeah. Yep. Some of my earliest footy memories.
Mostly blue, that goon, wasn't it?
Yes, and him kicking goals. And
the double Cobra was elite.
And I'll tell you what, he had a set of pythons on him too. He was not missing any gym sessions. Anyway, so it's a tie between him and someone who I think is one of the biggest what-ifs in the last 15 to 20 years for the North Melbourne Footy Club, Kieran Harper.
As we used to call him, the harpsichord, because your sister, my daughter, she loved him.
Yes.
She was about 6 at the time, but she thought he was very good, and he was very good. Had a lot of X factor about him. They put him on the cover of the
True North
preview yearbook, if you like. That's a lot of pressure for a young buck.
And he kicked a crazy goal against Brisbane from the pocket, I remember, and he just showed flashes, and then must have been injury, or he just
never did his ankle really badly.
Never really got that continuity that he needed, did he?
No, and he had a boxer. We had a boxer at the time, boxer dog. He had a boxer, so yeah, really like what he could have been, probably more than what he was.
And of course, I've got to give a shout out to the man at the helm, Alistair Clarkson, obviously wore the number 23 for the North Melbourne Footy Club a long time ago.
Yeah, you've only seen him in archive footage.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, he'd be a little punch behind the ball. When the umpire's not looking, there'd be a couple in the guts.
He started the Battle of Britain.
Yeah, he did too. That's a story for another day.
That's a long story for another day. My favourite, well, I've said the GOAT, so David Dench, full-back in the team of the century. Revolutionised full-back play. Played from 1969, back in the dark old ages. Had a long career through to 1984. Won 4 SIDs. He could play. 2-time premiership player in that great 70s, early 80s era we had. And just ran off. He was a running backman, whereas back in the day it was more just mark and kick it long, and then another mark and then kick it long. Well, he took off. He'd go really well today. He'd probably be at 191 centimetre, he'd probably be more your third tall, but he was a very good key position player. And as I said, ran off. That's my vision of him, just running from the back line, having a bounce, setting it up, taking the game on. This is what we like to see today from our backman, isn't it?
Yeah, and when I was doing up the research to see how many SIDS he won for you, just to double check, I was reading an interesting story that in his last year, in 1984, midway through the year, the coach at the time, Barry Cable, said, your time's up, and he packed his bag and said, I'm done.
Yeah,
and just walked out.
Yeah, I couldn't remember that, but I remember reading that as well. So, yes, and a shout out to OG Boner, Dino. That was his favourite player, Dean Wall.
Yes, long time. Well,
He's
one of the first
He's
listeners.
an OG Boner.
He is.
That was his favourite player.
But to our listeners, put your favourite number 23 in the comments. I always like seeing the different choices because, as we've mentioned, it's not necessarily the best. It's who your favourite was, which is why I had Kieran Harper as one of mine. Right, let's get into our preview against the Hawks. Then the last time we met them was a shambolic day. It was round 24 last year. We lost 170-46 in Launceston at UTAS. We were there. The highlight of the day for me was meeting a couple of the listeners.
Yeah, that was
Little Jimmy,
definitely
Stoney,
the highlight.
because there wasn't many other highlights in a really bad day. So let's try and bring it up a little bit. So similar to last week, it brought the win when we revisited the last time we beat them.
Yeah, so let's keep doing that.
We're doing it again. So the last time we beat Hawthorn was round 9, 2021. Funnily enough, at UTAS Stadium.
We were there.
We were there. It was 87-80. For those who might remember it, Taron Thomas kicked the stealer with about a minute to go, from memory. Some of our best that day, Cam Zerhart kicked 4. Your man, who you were massive on, Taylor Garner, he kicked 3.
I love Taylor Garner. He's unfortunate with injuries.
Geyser had 38 and 14 clearances. Cunnington had 37 and 13 clearances. And Luke Davies-Uniacke had 24, a goal and 11 clearances. So 3 players to get 10-plus clearances. It was domination.
Yeah, we dominated the midfield centre clearances that day, that's for sure. And we were given Hawthorn tickets, as in Hawthorn members we know who couldn't go, so we were right in amongst the brown and gold. They didn't really appreciate people seeing it from the other side of the field, did they?
No, it was an interesting day. I'll just leave it at that.
It was very interesting. They don't like, things going maybe not their way.
Got a bit hot in the kitchen.
It did.
But that game was at UTAS, obviously. I don't think I mentioned that before,
you did.
but it was also David Noble's first win.
Yes.
One of few. Not one of many usually, so, but one of few for him.
Yes.
So let's have a look at potential team changes. I understand a lot of our listeners would love us to be able to do live reactions. Unfortunately, it doesn't always work up that way like it does tonight. So let's have a look. I think they'll go in unchanged, and if I was in charge, I'd go in unchanged. But it was interesting to note in the press conference from Clarkson today, he did say that Darling will be named, but he's no certainty to play. They're going to give him right up to the last hour to prove his fitness because he hasn't been able to do any work because of the stitches. And he can't get any moisture or anything in it either, so I don't think he's trained at all this week, from what Clarkson said.
Right, well, for me, I'd probably leave him out. I know he's very important for us, but it's a big ground. All their backs, like probably aside from Barras, like to run, don't they? They just love to spring off half back. So you've got to have someone who can hopefully win the contested ball to start with, but chase when we have to. And if you can't, if his leg's not right, and makes it interesting who you bring in for him, because Finbar, as I said, had an outstanding marking game last week in the VFL.
Well, while you're on him, there's an account on X called the North Merchant. They are fantastic because I don't know if it's a he or a she, so I'll say they. Go to training, provide updates, and just great content. They do a lot of stoppage work as well. They show clips from the game and sort of put a message about it so you can sort of follow along at the different structural things. But they said that Finbar was doing a lot more rucking than usual at training today, which is a big sign. And my man, the shotgun, he was Will Dawson. He was training down back, so
I reckon he's coverage for Chom.
Yeah,
I reckon that's
right.
why they threw him down last week as well. I think Finbar then, by what you've said, and that's almost enough to get me on the socials. All that detail coming through.
Oh, it's
You'll
great.
have to start showing me that.
Look,
telling me first now. I want to read it. I want to study it.
X is fantastic for pages like that. but then it also has the downside of it can be, I generally don't check it after a loss because it gets really negative. But
Right.
no, it's like all social media.
So I think Finbar, and he put some offensive pressure on the Hawks with his great marks, because they're a bit suspect tall down back, aren't they? When Brass will no doubt go to Larky. Don't want to jump the gun with your preview matchups.
I didn't have that.
Oh, didn't you? Who you have on Larky?
I think Battle will probably go to Larky.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. And
Who's the...
Brass will go to Finbar.
Oh, well, if he's playing now. But you think he'd go to JD if he plays? Who do you think?
Yeah, I think I don't think he's quick enough to go with Larky on the lead. I think he's slow, Barras.
Yeah, well, he plays the anchor, so he normally goes to whoever's the deepest forward. So that'll be interesting. I'd still probably think he'd go to Larky. But either way, let's get Finbar in. And if he can help out in the ruck, because that would be the only reason I'd probably bring Shotgun in above him, because Shotgun has got the height to go in the ruck.
Or as one of our listeners on YouTube commented, a sneaky chance for CCJ after he played
Yeah,
pretty well last week.
his VFL form's been better than I'd expected.
So he could be a chance as well.
I think he's fighting, we've said a few times, he's fighting for his career, and I think he's ahead on points at the moment. So I think if he keeps this up, shows this steady improvement coming back from a horror injury, I think he'll get another year.
Very interesting. Well, speaking of another year, I suppose we better also mention that Toby Pink's close on signing a 2-year deal. And hasn't he got
the Pony Club's going to be open for a couple more years yet.
How do you think Dennis Pagan would be going with all the media street? Toby's been doing media left, right and centre.
Well, his form will want to continue.
Yeah.
Dennis would be no more media street, son.
But no,
it wouldn't be lad, it'd be son.
Yeah.
It'd be a very stern son.
It's a great reward for him in the season he's having, though. It's reported by Kowtoumi and various other journalists that he'll get a 2-year extension.
Yeah, which is spot on. You don't want to, none of this 5-year stuff, but 2. He'll continue his form. He's had 6-week really good patch, but you wouldn't want to sign him for longer than 2.
No, 2 with a trigger, I'd be happy with if he plays 80% of games or 70 or whatever the number is. But right, so then let's have a look. Chom mentioned also on his podcast that he was very close not to playing last week, and then Clarko said, "You're right to go, lad," and sort of put it on.
And he CC'd up.
He did.
Didn't he? CC'd up.
So let's play hypothetical. If he was to go out, who would you like to see come in for him?
I'm thinking of his matchup. I'd give Shotgun first crack.
Well, I think it has to be Will Dawson or Matt Whitlock. If Cow Dawson comes in, like, I've got nothing against Cow, but he's not in our future, is he?
No.
So,
and they're a smaller. See, the beauty of Whitlock, he could also go to a small if he had to. If someone went off injured or whatever, or as a rotation. Who have they got? I'll wait for the matchups.
Well, we're going there first, but we'll start where the game's won and lost in the midfield. So it'll be an interesting week in the ruck with Big X going up against Lloyd Meek. Very similar sort of styles. X is a much better player, but what I mean by that is that, they're rough and tough. Something Meek's done really well this year is he gets forward a lot and there's kick goals, so that's got to be a watch for X. They've also played Ramsden as well as the second ruck, but if Sicily comes back, he's a test. So if he comes back, I think he'll come in as a forward.
For Ramsden,
potentially.
That'll be interesting because, Ramsden's very tall.
He's like 2'10".
Yeah, he's very tall.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting. And then you look at the midfield battle. We know who's running through there for us. LDU. I just want to give him a shout out because he was very stiff not to poll any votes in the Basti. He had a great game.
Yes,
against
and
Carlton.
We missed him on the watch list because he's on, but he got a tick.
Yeah.
We'll retrospectively give him that. So if he gets another tick this week, he's off.
Yeah.
With the shortest life on the watch list ever.
Tommy Powell, Jai, Harry, Luke Parker, Georgie Wardlaw's an interesting one. 5-day break. Oh, I'm resting those hammies. Not putting that on.
You said you're making no changes.
Yeah, well, I forgot about that.
Okay.
I'll be bringing Will Field in for a run.
Yeah, Will
Or
Field
potentially big game Zane.
The big game Zane's got good form the last few weeks.
And if they bring him in, you just put Jai in for more CBAs.
Yeah.
So Zane, essentially, George goes out, but Zane replaces Jai's role. You with me?
Yeah, I'm with you. So he's playing forward.
Yeah.
The high half forward. You could rotate through the wing if he had to.
So let's have a look at Hawthorn's midfield. Warple's a test to come back. They've got Jai Newcomb in there, Josh Ward, Dylan Moore spending a lot more time in there this year, and then, of course, Connor Nash, who's very tall as well and does a negating role. I expect him to go to LDU.
Yep.
But the big takeaway for me looking at that midfield mix is that they're similar to Carlton. They win from the contest. I don't think they're quick in their midfield, so you can get them on the spread.
They're better users than Carlton, I think, in the mid. They're smarter than Carlton. Carlton are more of a bash it forward, whereas I think Hawthorn will spread. They do block very well for each other. They do those little taps to each other right in the trough. So they've got to be aware of that.
They've got those explosive halfbacks and wings that
That's
push
where they
really high up as well. The likes of Carl Amon, Josh Weddle, Massimo D'Ambrosio, and there's another one I'm thinking of, Jarman Impey, and he always tears us up.
They like to get it to the outside for those players. That's all got to be aware of, because if we all get bees to the honeypot and they happen to win it, then they're going to get it to the outside, and it's going to make it really hard for our defenders.
So let's look at the matchups for our defenders, as you've perfectly segued.
But can we still on the midfielders? I think our midfield's better. So as long as they play as a team and run defensively and do all the team things, their talent is better, and it should win out. And probably the other thing is the ball use when they get it. If they dump kick it too much, we've got to try and retain or at least halve the ball.
Yeah, and we can't allow intercept marks either.
No, I mean, scoring from turnovers is their go. So
let's have a look at our defensive side of the ground. So the man of the moment, the man on everyone's lips, the new one of the cult heroes at North Melbourne, Toby Pink. I just sent him. He goes the best forward for mine. So in my opinion, that's Jack Gunston.
yes,
So that's the matchup there. I don't think Gunston. He's lost. He's still a very good player, but he's lost his sort of explosiveness that he had on the lead. So I don't think
he's very smart.
He is.
And Toby's a similar size, so he won't be disadvantaged by size. But if Gunston gets 5 shots a goal, he'll probably kick all 5. He's a very accurate kick. And for those who don't know, we did watch Hawthorn and Adelaide, and every time Gunston got it, he looked dangerous. And it was that wet weather type football, because there was no roof over the stadium, heaven forbid.
Don't get me
And,
started.
Anyway, he played it really smart, and they played it smart. He sort of protected the outside, the boundary side, and he found the space there because the defender sags off a bit to guard the corridor, and they were good enough to get it to him, and he was good enough to get it on the outside. Made him very dangerous. Yeah. And then if he's having a shot 40 out, even if it's on the boundary, he's very accurate.
But he plays a lot like Brody Myercheck from Collingwood. Would you say they're similar types? Gunston?
Yeah, I think Gunston's a lot cleaner and more skillful, whereas
But they're
Myercheck's
similar
more
size.
your tractor.
Similar size,
He's
though.
a pack crasher. It's very similar size.
Toby played on Myercheck, so that'd be
Yeah.
interesting one to watch. If they play Ramsden, or Chom's the only matchup because no one else will be able to touch his knuckles.
Yeah, he'll have to play on him.
And then the Charles Royce, Marbial Chol, well then Logue. I think they're both similar sort of players are not huge. Like, Charles not a huge pack marker.
I thought you were going to say he's about 198, Joel. He's huge in
Oh,
height.
he's huge in height, but he's not your crash and bash. He's a bit soft.
He's very soft.
But then if Sicily plays, then Chom will go to Chol and Logue to Sicily. So
Yeah. Charles a bit of a downhill skier, isn't he? If everything goes right for him, he'll be up and about. Yeah, no, but he'll be up and about and try, but he can give up. The bottom lip can fall out very quick. He can throw the toys out of the cot very quickly.
Well, there's a reason why he's been moving around every couple of years.
A journeyman, as they say. No, that's a nice way of saying it.
As for the Wizard, now Nick Watson, he's going to be looking for free kicks left, right and centre. We all know how it is. So Riley Hardiman gets that job for mine.
Yeah, learn to tackle around the hips. I hope they've done tackling training, because one of the teams who played them, I can't remember who it was, spent the whole week learning or concentrating on how to tackle, not to give away those highs they go looking for. But I will say this about the Wizard. When we watched him play Adelaide, he didn't do a lot, but every stoppage, he just runs through it as fast as he can. And obviously, if the ball comes anywhere near him, then he looks for get the ball and get the high contact.
Speaking of high contact, they've also got Jack Ginnivan floating around the back line. I've got either Colby or Foss, probably Foss for Ginnivan, because Ginnivan gets higher up the ground, and we want to try and get Foss, Colby.
Who's on him? Make your mind up.
Foss.
Okay, Foss is on him, but you want Colby. What's Colby doing?
I said we want him sort of higher up the ground. He can play on the worst forward.
Yeah, okay.
And then Dylan Moore's another one. I think Elmack's the man for that job.
Yeah, well, he's the one that gets really high up.
And he's the worst. He's an underrated high free kicker.
Yes.
Getterer.
Gets away with it a lot. Doesn't get the attention that the others get, but he's another one that gets a lot of high contact.
I 100% agree. Right, let's have a look at the forward line. So I think, Larky, Battle seems like a likely one to me. Maybe they go Barras, but
We'll see.
Larky's got a good track record against Barras, if you remember his battles at West Coast.
Yeah.
Larky always got on top of him.
Yeah, okay.
Because they'd try and use McLovin, who's we're a big fan of, and sad news about him and his retirement. But
Yep.
Larky would always beat him if it was a one-on-one, genuine one-on-one. So
I was never a bigger fan of McGovern, when he took that mark in the grand final and denied Collingwood. And Dom Sheed, I was never a big fan of his, but when he sunk it from the pocket, that was great, just to see the disappointment on the hearts of the black and white army.
yeah, I couldn't agree more. Zerha and the PC matchups are interesting because Weddle seems the likely one for Zerha, but they like to sort of free him up, so he might go to a Constanti or someone like that to try and run off and create a little bit. So I think
Cassandi's going to have to go to an Impy or who's the other one? There's
Amon.
Yeah, one of those or both of them because they both just run as soon as they can.
But their best lockdown defender, Hawthorn, is Blake Hardwick. Now,
Yep.
there'll be interesting to see whether he goes to PC or Zerha.
He'll go to PC, I reckon.
Yeah, and then maybe a Weddle will probably have to go to Zerha. So
Yeah.
that'll be very
Well,
interesting.
Weddle's got a bit more height, as has Zerha over PC, although they both take an overhead mark. So
I think an area we can exploit them is we know the Hawthorn halfbacks love to push up, get high, be creative. And they're going to have to match up on the Amons of the world and the Impies and the Weddles. They're going to have to match up on some dangerous players for us. Like if you're throwing a Harry Sheasel, he probably gets Amon. So let's make him defend. And if he doesn't want to, then let's get the ball into one of our most dangerous players' hands. So I think there's definitely an area to exploit them there.
yeah, and they'll try and exploit us if we can't hit the kick or take the mark and run off. So that's probably, along with the middle, that'll be where the game's won and lost.
Yeah, very big game to try and solidify some of this form. And I just know deep down Clarko just wants to beat these pricks, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like after everything that's happened, there's been some really disappointing results the last 4 or 5 against the Hawks.
Yeah, especially last year where we put our hard-earned money on the line because ticket prices are ridiculous for one game. Oh, you got that on the rundown, have you?
No, but let's go there now because it's a joke.
It's a joke. We sat behind the goals and it cost a freaking small fortune, and then we had to be served up that by North and put up with all the Hawthorn dickheads around us.
And that stupid drum.
And you had to sit one down.
Yeah, I did too. I forgot about that.
Verbally, of course. We're non-violent type operators.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the game last year.
I know, I had to give him some feedback because it was getting out of control.
Yes.
Anyway, it's time for Baz's big call. Now, we were stiff last week because my man PC could not find the big sticks and kick 2-3. So they got kicked a combined 5, PC and Cam.
Yep.
I had them for 6. So not quite there. But this week, you've gotten to me a bit because you said I only pick the forwards.
You do.
So this
you love a celebration.
I do.
Let's be fair.
So this week's Baz's big call, I've got North to win clearance, contested possessions, and the tackle count. I think the Shinboner spirit's back. Bit of bully ball from the Kangas.
Bully ball,
I've got us winning those 3 statistics, the 3 big ones that will be all led. Well, maybe not, but it'll start to be led by Big X.
Oh, of course.
He'll throw his weight around there, and just a sneaky one to watch on the tackle count. Tommy Powell. People like to say he's a bit sleepy on the defence.
Well, I think he's one of them who's improved in the middle.
He and LDU, I think.
And funnily enough, now his form's improved because you can always control effort, and that's why CCC is so important to me because they're always 100% effort.
And I'll tell you what, someone I was just thinking of who's 100% effort. Oh, JK, how good was he the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, fantastic. So
he might be half a sniff. Anyway, let's get to our predictions.
there's a lot of people pushing.
There is.
So that's an exclusive club.
What is your prediction for the game on Saturday?
Unfortunately, it's at UTAS. I'm still burnt by last round 22, whatever it was, second last round last year.
It was the last round.
That was the last? Was it last round? Okay.
Because our last 2 games, we lost by 208 combined, or 18 combined.
Yeah, it was Bulldogs and then
Hawthorn, which is who we've got the next fortnight.
Yeah, and I don't accept it was the last round and that all checked out. I do not. That is
Well, you said it
bullshit.
again.
Who?
Clarkson said
Yeah, well,
it
I don't
again.
accept it, Clarko. So sharpen up, son.
No, but he said
Lad,
it again today.
Sharpen up.
In the presser today, he said it.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, we didn't have much to play for.
Yeah, you're playing for the bloody jumper, Clarko.
That's a
Fair
direct
dinkum.
quote. That's what he said. I know. I'm with you.
Well, you've brought my mood down now. But yeah, Hawthorn very hard to beat down here. I don't think they're a top 4 side. They're a sort of a bottom of the 8 type side for me, fighting for those last couple of positions. But I think even though we've improved, there's not enough trust there for me to tip North, because the tipping's the most important, because I want the ring. And I've dropped a couple of spots in the last couple of weeks, so I need a win. I'm tipping the Hawks by 15.
Right. I'm unfortunately with you. There's just been too many times I've been burned at this ground too. You come in and you're hopeful, and we just dish up rubbish. So
we're 2-6, which is about what Hawthorn run at. They run at about 80%.
yeah, the 2 were a long time ago.
Yeah, well, the last one you mentioned, and the one before that was, I think, when Corey Jones kicked 7.
Yeah. So that's how long ago it was. But they're a great side. They play the ground
No, they're
very
not a
well.
great-
No, you didn't. You interrupt me. They're a great side at UTAS.
Okay.
They play the ground very well. I'm with you. I think they're a 6 to 12 operator in terms of final ladder position.
Yep.
But I've got the Hawks winning by 27 points. Now, I will say, I know a couple of listeners are coming down, making the journey down to God's Land here in Launceston. So we'll be on the eastern wing. So come
Eastern
and say,
Terrace.
come and say hello if you recognise us, or send the pod a message if you want
Well, if
to.
you hear us,
say g'day.
you'll probably hear
I'll
us.
tell
You're a
you
fair
what,
chance.
$1 to hear us.
Yeah.
That's a guarantee. Betting suspended. But yes, so come and say hello if
Yes.
you are down. But yeah, I think it'll be an interesting game.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing the boys live, seeing the improvement.
No rain forecast.
No rain. No, I think it's high 14, sunny. And
Beautiful day.
It'll get a bit cool in the evening, but yeah, we won't need a roof. They've got enough with a roof. All right. What else are we going to talk about? You've just had some news drop on your phone from the AFL.
I was looking at it before, and they've done a huge change, the AFL.
Huge.
The 3:20 time slot of a Sunday afternoon,
Yep.
they've revamped it for the rest of the year. It's now 3:15. My God, what is the point if you're going to change it 5 minutes?
Well, you know why they've changed it? Because it runs over the news all the time. And obviously the news is vital for ratings and everything. They want it leading into the news. You always miss, even if it finishes on time, you miss the theme song in the rooms from whoever wins. So they should start it at 3.
I agree.
And so this is half the argument. They're saying, the game's too long. And that's Channel 7, I'd imagine, saying, we're missing the start of the news. We're falling behind the other stations. Well, you don't have to shorten the game and change 150 years of tradition. Just start it earlier. Because what are they showing on Channel 7, the main football carrier, before 3 o'clock? They're just talking crap on a footy show about the round, which I don't think many people watch. So there's no reason they can't start at 3.
I agree.
Have a preview start at 20 to 3. Build it up. Build up and try and build the ratings up, Channel 7.
Oh, it's a stupid time, 3:20 anyway.
It is a stupid time. Anyway, I don't know why they ever started it then, but yeah, 5 minutes is a start, but why didn't they just say, let's make it start at 3, we'll start the preview at 2:45. They can still have their crappy little footy show that runs from 12 to...
Nobody, I don't know. I've never met someone.
Well, I think it
who's
starts
watched
at
that
12
show.
because I never watch it.
The Sunday Footy Feast or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
never watch it.
I've never watched it once.
Anyway, that's our little Media Street / Grind My Gears / Well Done AFL for listening to the people and making a huge change.
Yeah, wow. Groundbreaking. Right, let's get into the tipping, courtesy of our friends at SC Rings who are on board again. We had a couple of 7s, but before we get there...
7 out of 7.
Yes, before we get there, our man Hayden, still in front, still leading. He's been leading most of the season.
Well, Bulls Cooking was up there.
Yeah, well, he's in second on 1 behind, so he's right up. That's a bit of a 2-horse race at the present time, Jared Healy, as he always is. Anyway, there was 2 people to tip 7, so a shout out to Kangaroony 71.
Yep.
He was 1 off the margin too, so a very good round for him.
That's elite tipping.
And then we had Mark Loves Beer.
I think we've had him before, haven't we?
Yeah, he's a good man. I've met him at Gather Round.
He sounds like my type of operator.
Yeah, he definitely is. He tipped a 7 as well, and then in third place, it was me.
You?
I didn't get a 7 though, but I got a 6.
No, you don't get your name read out.
No, I got a 6 with a perfect margin. Thanks for
Oh,
coming.
okay. Very good.
Right, so let's get into the tipping for this week, starting tonight Port Adelaide and Carlton.
There's a yawn fest here, but I've tipped Port for no other reason than Carlton was shit last week, and it's at their home ground, Port.
Yeah, I've tipped Port as well with news that Cripps might be laid out. I don't even...
Oh, he's been bashed up by X, another victim, is he?
Yeah. Even if he does play, Port win.
Yeah.
The Swans versus the Dogs tomorrow night.
Doggies, I'm on them.
Yeah, Doggies as well. Suns and the D's.
Suns.
Suns. And interesting, I saw before we recorded, this is going right off track, but one of my bugbears, and who I think is one of the most overrated players in the comp, got dropped. Jake Lever.
Did he?
Yeah, he got dropped this week.
Just poor form, obviously.
Yeah,
Dropped.
good.
Who came in for him?
Well, we don't know. It was just reported by Tom Morris.
Okay.
So
Teams haven't dropped.
No, they haven't. Then we've both tipped the Hawks to beat North, unfortunately.
Yeah, I give us a chance.
So do I.
But unfortunately, the tipping, I want that SC ring.
A huge Saturday night a blockbuster between Collingwood and West Coast. That'd be a bloodbath.
Oh, God. Yeah. Well, if it was in WA, Collingwood would probably take their seconds.
Yeah.
But it seems that, they don't have to travel.
That's at Marvel.
Marvel. Well, they do have to travel. They'll probably drop half the team. Well, Pendles won't know where to go.
They'll wear their away Guernsey, I reckon. Just out of habit.
Yeah.
Adelaide and Richmond.
But they'll rest someone, surely.
Oh,
Or a
no
couple.
doubt.
Anyway.
No doubt. Adelaide and Richmond. Or Richmond Adelaide, sorry. Richmond home game.
Yeah, that's why it's at the G. Because Richmond don't travel to Marvel either for home games. It'll be Adelaide.
It'll be Adelaide, and then I assume you've got Freo to beat St Kilda.
Absolutely.
Right, so get your tips in. Good luck to everyone again this week. And a huge shout out to everyone who's jumped on board and subscribed on YouTube. We're almost there. I think we're about 30 away now, Chief.
Oh.
People have jumped on. Make sure, if you're listening and you haven't yet, get in time for our random draw when we get to 500 subscribers, giving away a merch prize pack.
Yes. Elite. It'll be elite.
It will be.
Yeah. Anyway, very good. We've got a lot of listeners on the other services, so maybe they could just do a sneaky subscribe to get the merch pack.
Well, yeah,
you can still listen on the Spotify or Apple or whatever.
Yeah, we have lots on Spotify as well. So shout out to everyone who's been doing that as well.
Yes, we appreciate it. And we appreciate the questions. Someone else I saw, or the comments, I suppose, more than questions. Someone else was pushing for someone to be in the CCC, you were telling me, on one of the comments.
Yeah. Well, it was Luke Parker. But
He's already in. He's already in. So, yeah, he was in early. Well, I said he'd probably need 50 games, but as soon as he was playing with broken ribs and smacking in hard at the contest, he got in. He's been very good for us.
And just on I've just thought of this now.
I'm looking forward to seeing him too. I know I mentioned that, but yeah, he's
Double up.
Well, he's the only member of the CCC I haven't seen live. Well, actually I have, but he was wearing the filth Swans Guernsey.
I forgot to mention before too, just in case anyone's interested in this weird sort of stuff like I am. When on the last pod I said that Chom's probably wearing long sleeves because he's wearing a guard, he is.
Oh, yeah.
He is wearing a guard.
I think we can lock that in.
JD will be wearing a shin guard if he plays as well.
Yeah. How many stitches did he have, do we know?
I don't know, it was a lot.
Yeah, would have been. Well, the gash was... I'm
see
surprised they
bone
didn't
there.
go back to it on the coverage and try and zoom in on it a bit more.
Probably a bit gory.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I thought it was quite a big gash and it'd be many, many stitches, I'd suggest. And I don't think he'll play.
No. Oh, well, it'll be interesting to see. It wouldn't be the worst thing to give him a week off, 5-day break into our 100-year celebration game.
Yeah.
Which, for the listeners, we'll be doing a 100-year celebration pod leading in as well. We'll be doing draft style, picking 5 players each from the 100 years of the North Melbourne Footy Club, seeing who can come up with the best 5. So,
will we?
We will be. I'm dropping that on you now.
Yeah, you've obviously done all your prep, and now you're trying to get me off guard.
Well, you can have pick one. I'll let
Can
you
I?
do that. Yep.
All right. Yeah, well, Wayne Carey. There you go. No surprises
Little
there.
spoiler. But we'll be back on Sunday to review the game. Hopefully it's a really good showing from the boys. And we're a massive chance if we bring it to them. Hawthorn, I was there live and gathered around when Port absolutely dismantled them when they brought frontal pressure. And that's what we've been bringing. So simple. Bring the pressure and you're right in it.
Yeah, and pressure's one thing you can apply. You don't have to be the skillful footballer to bring frontal tackle pressure.
Right, that's it from us, Chief.
Okay, well, we'll be there. Let's hope we see a win I'll sacrifice one tipping spot for a wing, of course. Anyway, Ghana Kangas.
Thanks for listening, guys. Talk soon. Go Roos!
Good old North Melbourne, they're champions.